Hi and welcome to the latest of our macrame tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to do a simple Christmas tree wall hanging. We're going to be using a stick, or you could use a dowel, or you could use a rod, but you need a hanging tool. I'm using the bobbiny, as I always use the bobbiny, but this one is the 3mm single twist in laurel, which is a nice sort of like pale greeny colour, it's almost like blue tones, so it's a really nice natural colour. And you're also going to need a sharp pair of scissors. So I'm working on a cork board. This can be done hanging on a rail, but just to show you today, I'm just working on a flat surface. I like using the cork board because I can use pins to hold cords in situ while I'm working, and it stops things shuffling around. Okay, so the first thing you're going to have to do is cut your lengths of laurel, and I'm going to cut 10 lengths of 1.5 meters. Okay, so if you cut those now, and I'll meet you when we're done. Right, I've cut my lengths ready, and I'm now going to attach them to my stick with a lark's head knot. And again, just a reminder to make sure that the cords we're working with are even. So make the two ends meet. Shuffle your way to the end of the cord, and you've got a loop. Then we're going to place the loop over the stick, pull it round, open that loop with your finger and thumb, pull those cords through, and there we go. Okay, just shuffle it up so that's sat nice and snug against the stick. Okay, so I'll show you that once more. Get another cord. Okay, two ends meet. Go to the other end with your loop, loop over your stick, open that loop out, and then just pull your cords through. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to attach all of our pre-cut cords to the stick with the lark's head knot, and I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, so we've attached all 10 cords with the lark's head knot, and this is where I like to put my pins just to hold my stick in place when I'm pulling on the cords. Now again, you could use a clipboard and clip the stick in place, or a bulldog clip, or you could be working on a hanging rail, but I'm just going to put those there so that I stay still. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be giving our Christmas tree a border, and to do that I'm going to use the double half hitch knot. So what I'm going to do is, because I've got 10 cords, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in, and I'm going to take the right hand cord of that lark's head knot, and I'm just going to pop that in place over there. And then I'm just going to take the next cord, which will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th again, because we're halfway, but it's the left hand cord from that lark's head knot. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put those there so that they're even, and this is where I'm going to make my border follow this diagonal. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to pin the cord down because obviously I need that, but I'm just going to put a pin by where I want it to finish on both sides, so I know that I'm working evenly. Again, this is just something that I've found is easier for me. Okay, so I've done that, and I'm going to start by picking up the left hand cord of this lark's head knot, and this is going to be my working cord. So I've got my diagonal here, which is my filler cord, and my working cord in my right hand, okay, just because I'm right-handed. So I'm going to make a double hitch knot. So I'm going to take my cord over the filler cord, and then we've got this loop here. Put the cord through there and pull it through gently, and then I'm just going to tighten that cord. Okay, not too tight because I want to be able to see the definition of the knot. And then this is what we need to make it steady. And then I'm going to do that again for the second part of the double hitch knot. Okay, and there we go. And I'm just going to leave that cord there. Okay, so now I'm going to work along these cords, starting in and working out. Okay, put my filler cord back. There we go. Make sure that your filler cord is always over your working cords when you start, because then you're going to be the right side of the cord to make the knot correctly. Okay, so going over and through the loop. Okay, half, and again for the double, and there we go. That's my second double hitch knot. All right, so what you need to do is just keep working towards the, if you've pinned it or if you've marked it to where you want the outline of your tree to be. And you can see I'm just working now all the way down this filler cord with my working cords. Ooh. I've got to go on the pin there, never mind, that's it, before I pull it too secure. Okay, so if you carry on doing that for the left hand side, and then you want to repeat that on the right hand side, so again I'll just start off, okay, and you're just going to, in exactly the same way, make sure that the filler cord is over the working cords to begin with. Do the half, and then the double. Okay, and then you're going to work down that side. Okay, so again, if you do that now, and I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, so I've made the outline for the diagonals of the top of my tree, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fill it in with square knots. So again, working from the centre, so find your centre point again, and we want 2 cords from the left hand side and 2 cords from the right hand side, okay, to give us our group of 4, and then I'm going to make a square knot. So if you haven't seen the square knot before, it's one of the most basic knots in macrame, and I have got a separate tutorial for it. But just a quick recap, our left hand cord makes an L shape, goes over the centre 2 cords. I bring my right hand cord over my L, tuck it underneath the centre cords, and then bring it up through that L loop. Okay, and then I'm just going to gently pull those cords to there. I'm not going to pull them too tight because I want it to stay in shape. So then I'm going to make the second half of my square knot, which is your right hand cord, and I like to think of it as making a P loop over the centre 2 cords, then your left hand cord behind and up through that P loop. Okay, and there we go. That's my first square knot done. Now I'm going to make an alternating square pattern. So of that square knot we've just made, I'm going to take the 2 left hand cords, and then I'm going to take the next cords from my diagonal, okay, and I'm going to make another square knot. Okay, so square knot, half, and my second half. In fact, I can move these pins out of the way now, these 2 that I marked my diagonal with, because they're getting in my way. So I've done that square knot, and now I'm going to make a second one. So using the right hand 2 cords from my first square knot, and then take the next 2 from my diagonal. And you're making another square knot. Okay, now I'm going to keep making alternate square knots until I reach in line with here. So I think I'm going to do another 2 rows. Okay, so if we do that now, and then I'll meet you when we're done. Right, so we've completed 4 rows of alternating square knots. So that row that meets the end of our first diagonals is a row of 4 square knots. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to bring this double hitch knot pattern just in slightly before we make the next part of the tree. So my outer cord, I'm going to be edging just underneath this row of square knots, but I'm only going to make a double hitch knot with the first 5 cords. Okay, I don't want it to come in out any further because that's going to continue the square knot pattern. Okay, so in exactly the same way as we did before, making sure your filler cord is outlining the bottom of the tree, or the bottom of that part of the tree, I should say. Okay, so I'm just going to do that with 1. 2. 3. 4, and oh, I've only done half there. And the 5th one. Okay, so you can see what's beginning to happen, can't you? I'm forming the sort of like the outline for my tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly the same for the right hand side, just work in the 5 chords, and then we'll move on to the next part of the tree. Okay, so I've come in both sides, and again what I'm going to do is I'm going to join these 2 square knots with an alternate square knot, so it's the centre again. Okay, it's just going to hold the sides together. So make a square knot here, okay. Right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make another diagonal here. Okay, so if I pin where I want them to be again, so if I want it to be sort of about here, yeah, I'm going to go here and here, so that's even. And I'm going to use, so the filler cord that we've been using, we're going to carry on using this. Okay, that's that side, and that's that side. Okay, so we're going to, again, we're going to work towards these, but we're not going to include these. There's the 4 chords from that square knot we've made, and there's another 2 chords either side. We're not going to use those ones. So from the left, I'm going to start with the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th one here. Okay, now in fact, to stop that moving again and lifting up, I'm just going to pin that there. Okay, so over and through that loop, over and through the loop, and again, because I've put that pin there, I've got a guide where I want my diagonal to go to. Okay, and the next one. Okay, and that 4th one, the 5th one there. Okay, right, but what I'm actually going to do is, because a traditional Christmas tree is always a bit wider at the bottom, I'm going to add another cord here. So I've cut another cord, it's probably just about 50-60 centimetres. Okay, and I'm going to add it onto this filler cord. So double your cord over and get your loop again, but this time we're going to do the reverse lark's head. So we're going to put the loop underneath that filler cord, take it over and open it, and pull those cords there, and then that becomes part of the outline of the Christmas tree. Okay, if you wanted to make your Christmas tree even wider, then you could add another cord or so, but I'm just going to add one for now. Okay, and then I'm going to pin that there so that stays still. Okay, you can really see the outline now, can't you? Okay, and I'm going to get another pin and pin that side. and then I've got these 5 cords which I'm going to work towards this pin with. So make sure those ones are left in the centre. So if you do that now, add another cord if you want the tree wider, and I'll meet you in a second. Right, there we are again with our diagonal for the bottom part of the tree, and I'm now going to fill the inside with square knots. So again, I'm going to start at this centre one. I'm going to use the left hand 2 cords, and then the next 2 cords I've got on the right, on the left, sorry. I'm hopeless with left and right. Okay. And we're just going to carry on making an alternate square knot pattern. Okay, and each row we do will hold it together. So at the moment those centre ones might seem a bit loose. Okay, so we've got 2 there. But now what we're going to do is we're going to use 2 from that previous square knot and the next 2 from the diagonal, and that will keep it a bit tighter. It'll hold it together a bit more. Now you could, if you wanted to, add beads as you go along to this. You could add a bead at the top before you started if you wanted like a star on your tree, or you could add different coloured beads in between the square knots. Whoop, if you wanted a ball effect. The choice is yours, really. Okay, so I'm going to carry on working all the way down to the end of my diagonal. So like we did here, I'm going to stop when I get to the end of my diagonal and we'll finish the tree off. Okay, so I'm now going to make the outline of the tree, the border, to the centre of the centre knot. So I'm going to work from the left hand side in with the double hitch knot. Okay, in exactly the same way, from the left into the centre, and then I'm going to work in from the right to the centre. So if we do that now, and I'll meet you when we're done. Okay, and what I'm going to do now to finish off the bottom, like the trunk part of the tree, you might notice that those 2 centre filler cords kind of naturally overlap. Well, I'm going to leave them like that and then take the next 2 cords to make a square knot that will then kind of hold those together a bit more securely. So I'm just going to make the first half of the square knot and the second half. Okay, and in fact I think I'm going to make another square knot underneath just to make the trunk of the tree look a bit longer. Okay, and then, I mean, you can leave it like that, or if you wanted to, you could edge the border with a double hitch knot pattern again, in which case, okay, so I'm going to take another cord, and this is about 50 centimetres long, which is going to just edge the border. Okay, and all I'm going to do is just attach it like we did up here with a reverse lark's head knot. So put the loop underneath and then add it on. Okay, there we go, and these can hang down. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the cord that's to the left of this, and I'm going to just make a double hitch knot. Okay, like that. And then I'm going to take the cord that's coming out to the left of the square knot and make a hitch knot. See how it's just like bordering the edge of the tree trunk, if you like. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to do the same the other side. I need to cut another bit of cord, that's not long enough. I always tend to cut my cords a bit too long. I'd rather have them too long than run out. Okay, so attach it this side. There we go. So that reverse lark's head knot looks like the double hitch knot pattern again. Okay, and then I'm going to take the first cord to the right, make a double hitch knot, and then the cord that's coming out to the right of that previous square knot. There we go. And then to completely finish, I'm going to take this filler cord and I'm going to make a double hitch knot at the bottom there. There we go. And I'm going to take the filler cord from the right hand side and make a double hitch knot with that there. Okay, and then just to join these two together, I'm just going to make a double hitch knot. A bit tricky this bit is, but just to bring those together. Okay, and then you can leave all these cords hanging down, and then you've got a number of options. You can either leave them as they are, the cords, or you can fray them or fringe them. As I say, you might have quite a long hanging fringe, which I quite like actually. I'm just going to make sure these are all smoothed out, and then I'll just get my scissors, and I think I'm just going to chop the fringe about here. Okay, and there we go. Okay, so there we are. There is your complete, well, the sun's coming around now, isn't it? There's your complete simple Christmas tree wall hanger. Okay, right, well, thanks for watching again. If you have enjoyed the tutorial, please hit on the subscribe button, hit the like, leave a comment so I know what you think. If you've got any more requests for tutorials, then please, again, just leave a comment below, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.